That's Twisted.
This is Mark McNease with my co-host Rick Rose, and you're listening to another edition of The Twist. Welcome to The Twist Podcast, number 185. This is Mark McNease. See, Rick, I said my last name. And I got my co-host Rick Rose. I'm looking at him. You folks can't see him. But what a treat. What a face to see early in the morning.
Oh, come on now. And I see Mark live, and he's wearing poster color t-shirt.
Yes, my husband Frank gave me, he gives me t-shirts. Like they just show up in my drawer. And this one was from, I think it's from a radio station, because he was super successful in the recording business, not as a singer, but as a promoter. And that's why he was able to retire much earlier than I am.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful fluorescent yellow color, which is nice on today.
It's a very kind of thing.
Well, it makes me happy. It's like the sun I'm not getting outside. I am in Madison. I was in northern Wisconsin, Mark. Snow squalls starting on Friday here. We don't use the word squall here like they do out east.
Oh, yeah, because they call them here squalls. I got an emergency thing on my phone that said squalls. Is it offensive? Are we offending somebody?
No, I just think people here just didn't know what a squall was. Now we're unifying everything in the country, and maybe marijuana is not far behind.
See, I don't call it marijuana. I call it cannabis because when I avail myself of that, whenever we can get it in New Jersey, buy it in New Jersey. I don't smoke. I won't smoke anything, but edibles I will definitely try. But anyways, to me, that's not marijuana. It's cannabis. Yeah. Marijuana is the leaf. That's what you roll up and when you smoke in a blunt, that's marijuana. So I don't call it marijuana.
That makes sense. And then the word toking isn't used anymore, just so you know. And I always say to my
toke over the lines, sweet Jesus. The one toke
someone says they're smoking, though, you're right. See, you get it.
Yeah,
now they
nobody
say
calls
they're
it
smoking.
token. I mean, toking is so Cheech and Chong, 1970.
No. But anyway, we had snow squalls, bad weather. I was up north, last snowmobile ride of the year, and I decided to come home because the weather's going to be horrible today. They predict up to 1.5 feet in parts of Wisconsin. Here we're sitting, though, it's just a lull. That's why I'm appreciative of Frank's shirt this morning, because it's just like icy conditions, nothing happening. You know those mornings where you're looking for activity and there's nothing around you? It's that morning.
Yeah, we're going to the mall today because we had a sunny day yesterday.
Nice.
Frank likes to be outside when it's sunny or what, just not indoors like that. But today it's rainy, so we're going to go to the mall. I'm going to get a foot massage while he gets his steps in. And we're just going to have a good time. I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing all kinds of stuff.
Both things, what they both involve, yours and Frank's activity this morning?
What happened?
The common thing between you and Frank's activities this morning, besides being in a mall, are feet.
Oh yeah, I do my feet my way, which is to have somebody rub them.
He's working this out. I'm going down to Louisiana this weekend. Very excited. It's Mardi Gras season. Fat Tuesday, for those that don't know, is next Tuesday. And I was just joking so I'm going down for some crawfish, some good Mardi Gras spirit. And my friend Jody loves to walk, so I'll be walking with Jody. But no coffee next week. I was just telling Mark, he's sipping on his black coffee. He's doing his IF. And I'm like, well, Mark, we can't have coffee during Lent.
Yeah, but like I said, don't you choose what to give up during Lent?
Yeah,
I would never give up coffee.
I quoted Hebrews 11:1, everybody, but that was not accurate. I give up coffee. I give up the alcohol. Things like.
Well, that's good. My Lent's been going 7, 8 years now.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't had a drink in a very long time.
How was your Galentine's Day, by the way? I hate that they call it Galentine's Day now.
What is that?
It's a word for Valentine's Day for you and your girlfriend. So
for two chicks, Galentine's Day.
It's Galentine's Day. I saw it everywhere. So
I didn't see it anywhere. Thanks for bringing it up. I know you hate it, so I won't say I like it. It was good. We got massages. I told you that. That was last Monday. We did a podcast since then.
Oh my God. Am I really, Mark? You
are slipping.
I'm proving that I'm just losing it, aren't I? Anyway. Nonetheless.
And I think that's it. Are we on to new stuff?
Yeah, new stuff. Hey, new stuff for me. Just let me get mine out. Can I start with my new stuff?
Yeah, you go on, please.
Okay, cool. I told you where I was headed and relived Galentine's Day because last week is only Valentine's Day. And I am I had my first forum last week with other candidates. That was pretty cool. I'm running for District 16.
I thought you won. I told Frank you won.
Well,
You sounded like you won because you said you weren't on the council yet or something.
Well, April 5th is the actual election, so I don't win till then, but I've earned my seat, which means I'm running unopposed.
Oh,
so this
okay.
forum was for all the unopposed people coming in, 6 of us.
How do you run unopposed?
Just no opposition, and there's a lot of write-in candidates, so that could still happen with me. There's a movement, the 37 seats, most are progressive.
Oh my God, 37 seats.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of stuff. Oh my God, they're bringing rocks and dirt and salt. I don't know what's going on here, Mark. Now I see activity. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, April 5th will be the real date, but in the meantime, I'm doing a lot of forums and endorsements and AFL-CIO, League of Women Voters. It's been a lot of fun getting to know people, so that's new.
You're
also,
good at it. I know you're good at it.
I do okay, thank you. I mean, because I work
really
in
good in the deli, at the deli counter. You would.
I would. Why?
People would give you tips at Christmas. Because you're that kind of person. I'm like, get the fuck away from me. And you're like, you want to know their kids' names and birthdays and all this stuff.
Yeah, but then when I come home, I'm totally a different guy. I'm just with my little plants and don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. So I get it. I am going out, by the way. Just here's my new stuff relates to the world in general. I'm going out to Walmart after this to pick up my groceries. We'll see. You've heard on past shows, like 183 and 184. They won't all be there. They'll be shipped to me from, some other store in the country because they don't have them on the shelves. But I wanted to tell you this was cool. Queer Eye has a clothing line at Walmart.
Oh, I like that.
That's shocking to me. Why should I feel shocked by that?
Well, it's not called Queer Eye, is it?
No, it's not called. Yes, the clothing line is called Queer Eye. The guys, if you go to the Walmart Facebook page, Walmart, website, it'll pop up with the guys on there. The Queer Eye collection, fab home styles you'll find only at Walmart.
I like it that they're doing that. I'm just waiting for the boycotts and shit.
Yeah, I'm just kind of surprised. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, JCPenney, didn't they boycott the Ellen show or whatever because of all that? It's weird. But the other big news I have, this is what's new, and then I'll turn it over to you, Mark. The number of adults who identify as LGBTQ has doubled in the past 10 years, according to the... Yeah. Was that going to be one of your news items?
No. Well, no. Is it? Might have been. No, actually, no. It's on my weekly red lines, but not my headlines. It's up to 7%, I think.
Yeah, they say 7%. But what's interesting of the younger generation, it's a higher percentage. I think it's 20 for kids that are 18 to 25. That percentage is 21.5%. Because when you break down the LGBTQ part, like the colors of the rainbow, it breaks down very interestingly. Of those 7% or 21% or whatever the totality is in that group, 57% are bisexual, 20% said they're gay, 14 are lesbian, 10 are transgender, 4 choose another answer. So it's really, really interesting. Identifying as bisexual is most common for Gen Zs and Gen Xs and millennials. Other adults are likely to identify as either gay or lesbian as they get older or bisexual, which led to this cool thing I read about this designer named Fleemans, Phlemuns. He's designing not gender traditional clothing at all. Everything he designs is non-binary. His clients include Billie Eilish, Lizzo, Solange. Very interesting. He said, I've got to address that audience, So interesting. That's it. That's what's new. Big number shift. I always thought it was 10% though, didn't you?
Well, no. Was it? I mean, that's old school, just 10%. It was just a number that everybody used.
Yeah.
But it wasn't based on, verifiable statistics. And the kids today, the youngins, are using all kinds of labels. I was reading an article about that this morning, how it's not even LGBTQ. I mean, we cannot keep adding letters to the acronym. We got to just come up with something. But they're they're identifying as stuff like ACE and gender flux. I love gender flux. I just thought of that myself. But they do have, no, really, your gender's it fluctuates. So it's gender flux. Don't you like that? I
love it.
We got to get it started. How do we do that? Anyways, they have all these different terms that they're using for themselves. It's really quite something.
I like it. It's interesting. Yeah, that's what's new with me. That was big news. How about you?
What? Nothing's new with me.
Oh, you're getting your feet done.
I'm 1 week closer to leaving the Giant. I'm so committed to going. And then my mind will go like, maybe I could work till August. Or maybe. No, I'm out of there, man. I'm out of there. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back a couple days a week, but the full-time thing, I'm done with it. There's so many things that I want to accomplish as a writer and a podcaster and creator and publisher. I did a really good interview with Professor David Yamani about guns and gun culture. It was really good. I think everybody, and it really had a lot of listens because he's fairly well known. So check it out. It's really, I liked it a lot. And I can say that. And nothing else is new. Nothing else is new. I'm just, I've been agitated by it, but we're going to talk about it later, by all the assaults. They're not even stealth assaults anymore. Like the Republicans are like, do I even call them that anymore? I don't know. The extremists are taking over. They're on the local level and the state level and the municipal level and the school board level, and they're just doing incredibly harmful things. But I'll talk about that later.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I got some good news for you later, too, about all that. But anyway, we're on to the show. 190. Headlines.
Should I pull up some Joe My God, I guess? Hang on a second. Because I don't always get enough headlines. Because there's so many elements to the show that I'll like do some headlines and then I'm running off and doing other stuff. Okay, headlines. School. Parents can opt out of Black History Month. I said this was a thing in Indiana. Some schools sent out letters to the parents saying that they could opt out of Black History Month. It caused quite a stir, so the kids, the little white snowflakies, don't have to learn anything that offends their whiteness. My cousin allegedly killed here's another one. My cousin allegedly killed his wife and cast her vote for Trump. That was in the Daily Beast. I wonder if she was a Biden supporter, so he killed her.
Mark, it's not funny. It's terrible.
It's not funny, but
someone lost their life.
I know, it's horrible, but it's so MAGA,
Damn right this shit. Yeah, it is.
3, pro-Russia Ukrainian politician was punched and put in a headlock by a journalist on live TV. Obviously, it was not a pro-Russian television show. Here's one. The FDA, you probably saw this, Family Dollar products might contain rat feces. There was
my God, they closed down, shuttered up temporarily, like 25 stores or something.
From rat turds. I thought we only had them at the Giant.
Stop it. You're going to lose your job, dude.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble.
Next week, Mark comes back, guys. He's like, hey, I'm in a retirement now.
Hey, I left early. Here's the quote from it. Today, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration was alerting the public that several categories of FDA-regulated products purchased from January 1st through the present from Family Dollar stores in Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and Tennessee may be unsafe for use. I'm going to see my little Joe My God headlines. He's good for just headlines if that's what you're looking for. European Union sanctions on Russia to target banks and businesses. We'll see. They better do something. Well, maybe not. Oh, Arizona's going to ban recording police. No body cams, no nothing. So, but hey, folks, this is like banning books and not understanding that we have the internet and kids have phones. They're going to ban books. Like people have phones. I mean, most of the things that are getting these cops in trouble is because people are filming them with their phones. So getting rid of body cams, it might get you might get away with a couple of murders, but people are still going to be seeing what you're doing.
Exactly.
I think that's it for me. I got some happy news.
Happy news is easy.
Oh, you took it. You took my happy news. A record 7% in the U.S. now identify as LGBT. Gallup poll shows. That was my happy news because it's not a happy time right now.
That is happy news, though. Is it happy news? There's some mean gays out there, Mark, and there's some murderous gays out there too.
No, I know, but it made me happy. You know, it's nice to see something to balance off the erasure that's going on when they're trying to simply erase us. But like Charlton Heston said, they will get my marriage license from my cold, dead hands.
Huh. Who said that?
Charlton Heston. He said they'll take his gun from his cold, dead hands.
Oh,
he was a big old gun freak. You know what I mean?
That's when he was Moses or Jesus or some stuff, right?
Yeah, he was always right wing. So was John Wayne, a bunch of them.
They're all crazy, Mark. A little bit crazy. Yeah, my news. Are you ready for some news? I got some quick headlines.
Yep.
And I'm sorry I stole your big news.
It's okay. I didn't. I could have. I didn't realize it. No biggie.
No, I know. I didn't get your outline. Usually you send me a night before. Mark's very polished.
I told you I'm a super creative person. I'm
on his stuff. Yeah, he's very creative. By the way, I give credit to Mark, guys. He writes all our clickbait and our headlines and our you do a lot for the show, Mark, and I give you a lot of credit. So whether you're dressed for success, like Mark wants to come to work all dressed up and ready to rock and roll, or not, you are nailing it.
Just the pants, really. I mean, I got a t-shirt and a sweater on, but I can't do the sweatpants thing. They get stained and all this stuff. It's like, it's just sloppy. I don't do sloppy.
This just in, breaking news. U.S. Soccer and a group of women's players agreed to a $24 million settlement that included a pledge to equalize pay with the men's team. Love it.
Love it.
2022, and we're still talking about these things. You know, I really don't get it. Also new, Kate McKinnon is the latest A-lister to be enlisted for Barbie, the movie, also starring Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, America Ferrera, and Simu Liu.
And oh my gosh! From I'm so happy for him. Even though he really dissed Kim's Convenience when he was on Saturday Night Live. He didn't even mention it. And that's what got him famous.
I know, but I was bad. I was just kind of watching his pecs, if you will. You know, it really wasn't doing much more than that. But yeah, Greta Gerwig, who I love, and Noah Baumbach wrote the script, and Gerwig's going to direct it. Very exciting news. I love Kate McKinnon. This is, let's see, this I'm going to save. You ready for some more good news? Some more news?
Yeah, please.
General? Oh, okay. Well, let me look, Mark. I saved them all. Well, that's the good stuff. I have some good news. And I got to find it. Hold on. Scrolling down. Good news. People who say they don't have time to exercise might have to rethink after scientists prove just 3 seconds a day. Mark my words, guys. Just 3 seconds a day lifting weights was enough to strengthen muscle. Now, you may laugh.
Wait, no, I'm going to lift something. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Oh, make sure you lift it. I do in my isometrics. A new study. You may laugh and say 3 seconds isn't going to do it. But listen, a study by researchers in Australia and Japan found doing just one downward bicep, don't even have to bring it up, a day using a heavy weight increases muscle strength by more than 11%, Mark.
Oh, my God. And I have some dumbbells. Thank you.
Yeah. So it says a whole body workout could be over in just 30 seconds if the findings hold up in other muscle groups. Now, they're continuing to test those groups. Now, a caveat for this study, 39 healthy university students were told to complete one muscle contraction a day at a maximum effort for 3 seconds, 5 days a week for 4 weeks. So maybe because they were young, I don't know. Maybe, so. I don't know. Nonetheless, I think it's kind of good news. What do you think?
I'm happy about it. It means that I've kind of been working out and didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Because I lift boxes at work. I lift boxes, heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff. You are a heavy lifter, Mark.
I am. I do a lot of heavy lifting.
You are a heavy lifter. All right, let's get on. That's it. That's the news, guys. Keeping it short. Avoiding the war talk. Oh, my God. I did not go there, did I?
Well, we can't really avoid it. Maybe that can be our big. I got a couple big stories today, which I never do.
Well, yeah, me too. I've got some big ones, but I do want to say, speaking of the war, we're talking about what's going on right now in Russia and the Ukraine. Kind of scary, guys. You'll follow through today. It's not the Ukraine. Just Ukraine. You're right. It's not like they're the Chinese people. They're Chinese people, right? Good point. Thank you, Mark. But it is scary. Today is 2/2/22, by the way. We didn't point that out.
Oh, how exciting.
Happy birthday, my friend Zoe. What are you going to do at 2:22? Or what were you doing at 2:22 a.m.? Were you awake?
I was asleep. I was telling my cat to stop digging at the closet door.
And they kept digging?
She did, yeah. I have to put, it's annoying.
They have a gender?
She. My animals are binary, I'm sorry.
One last thing. Besides the imminent war out there, I do want to point out that John Pavlovitz, who I quoted last week at the quote, at the end of the show, did post yesterday. Over the past week, 2,200 people in the U.S. have died from that thing that millions of people say is over. So calls me to check because I'm like, hey, let's get on with life. And then we remember people are still dying of
I know. I'm still not putting on a mask if I don't have to. I can't do it anymore. What was I going to say?
We're going on to something. The listicles.
The booze.
Booze, okay.
It's always boo, booyah, listicle. That's pretty set. My big boo, and it could be I won't do it as a big topic because now it's my big boo. It's not just Florida. 15 don't say gay bills are cropping up across the country.
Are you serious? Please say it's not.
No, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, of course. The usual suspects. Texas, but definitely Florida. And it's just so, it makes me so sad, and I get so upset because people don't comment on it. Like, I'll put something on Facebook and nobody says anything, and I know they don't mean it that way, but does no one care about these kids? Because in the Florida, I'm going to read this one. It's from the Florida Don't Say Gay bill that I know DeSantis is going to sign. You know it's going to pass. We are not. We talked about this before. I'm not going to Florida again as long as they're under this kind of regime, this kind of evangelical, hateful, bigoted, vicious regime. I'm not going to be nice about it. An amendment was added to the Florida's Don't Say Gay bill that will require schools to out LGBTQ students to their parents.
Fuck them.
The amendment to Florida House Bill 1557, filed by the bill's co-sponsor, of course, Representative Joe Harding. Maybe it's Joe Hard-On. Let's call him Joe Hard-On. He's got a hard-on. Last Friday would require schools to out sexually and gender diverse students to their parents within 6 weeks of discovery.
I can't even. Whatever.
And not only
are they pretending
we have to talk about it. We must. Somebody has to speak up. According to the amendment, quote, the school principal or his designee shall develop a plan using all available resources to disclose the information within 6 weeks. And here's the worst part, as if it's not all hideous. Originally, there was an amendment. A harm exemption was included, so that if the student could come to harm at home, either being abused or abandoned by the parent, that was an exemption. Guess what? They got rid of the exemption. So my heart breaks for these teens and these kids, because I was one of them, who are they're not going to talk to anybody. It's not going to stop them from being gay. It's going to keep them living in silence and suffering in silence because there are no adults they can trust. And then you go to does this apply to guidance counselors? Are you a guidance counselor and you're going to fucking call my father and tell him I'm a homosexual if I talk to you?
Please tell me that they're not using it like, because we're helping and your parents need to know. They're not using that excuse, are they?
The excuse for all of this crap is, quote, parental rights. It's bullshit. They know exactly what they're doing. The people who are behind this, I've said it so many times. This is not grassroots. I also read that very few people actually want these censorial things going on. It's a group of extremist, evangelical, born again motherfuckers doing this shit across the country. And you got Steve Bannon on his podcast that I never listened to. They're upfront about it. They're going to take over the school boards. They're going to take over on the local level. And this is what's happening. And it breaks my heart because I was one of those kids. I didn't kill myself, but I sure drank a fucking lot when I was 12 years old and gay and I had nobody to talk to. That's when I drank a lot because it helped me survive. And I'm 63 and all these people can kiss my fucking ass. And if nobody cares, just get ready to bury some kids, man. Just get ready to donate some more to the Trevor Project because some 11-year-old girl hung her fucking self. Motherfuckers.
You make me cry. You really are. This is why I'm running for Dane County. It ain't going to happen in this county. It's not going to happen on my dime. That is fucking ridiculous. Sorry. As if a parent doesn't know at that age what's going on with their own kids. You ain't doing any parental rights. Give me a break. Like a child goes to school and he's queer and at home he's not acting queer. That's not even right of me to say acting queer, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's move on and be it's
Yeah, I am, but like I said, like it just like It dispirits me when I will say something about it. I know people don't want to do politics on Facebook. I don't. I rarely ever do. But when I share something like that and nobody says anything, I think to myself, what happens when they come for me? What happens when they come for me and Frank? Is my sister going to say any fucking thing? Are these people who say they're my friends, are they going to say any goddamn thing? Or are they just going to go back to Key West and have a fucking mojito on the beach? Fuck them too. All right. I'm happy.
We did have a warning before the show that Mark was a little spitfire today. He did tell me, y'all.
I told you I was fired up because I'm sick of this shit. And it's happening, and people aren't doing anything about it. They're not doing anything. They're not saying anything.
Yeah.
You know, so. But I told Frank, if this shit ever happens in Jersey, we're leaving. You know, like Virginia, they got Youngkin, who pretended to be a moderate. And as soon as he got elected, he's passing, banning critical race theory, which isn't taught. It's another thing these fucking imbeciles think is something that it's nothing. If it ever happens in Jersey, we're gone. I will not live in a state like that.
It's ridiculous. I know. So you have a booyah though. Let's offset this, don't we?
Yeah. Now that I just made people say this man's insane, I'm not listening to this.
Okay, can I just give you some quick news that I'm dealing with right now since we're on a roll and we have to change things?
Yeah.
So one of the videos that was released, God, I even hate saying this, but it is the reality, and I don't care. They're not listening to the show anyways. One of the videos that was released on YouTube Shorts by one of our shows, it wasn't Discover, and it wasn't Into the Outdoors, which Mark has worked on. They're good family friend shows, has a song that played, and I was just watching and scrolling. I'm not trolling. I'm just doing my job. It's one of our brands. I'm in charge of hiring people for this company based on the content we put out, and it had the N-word in it. And the producers chose to use it. So I reached out this morning to our head of digital, and she goes, well, the music was chosen from the YouTube short library within the app itself. Surprisingly, I'm shocked that YouTube even has this in their library. But does that also mean there's not a bleeped version of it? Yeah. So, of course, I write to the powers that be at our company, and those three white men are not going to respond to me. You watch. But anyway.
Deep breath. Deep, happy
we
breath.
Breathe.
Happy breath, people, because it's good. We need to get worked up, but at the same time, do not live in rage. Don't live in it. Don't live in it, Rick.
Mark, I wish you were here and I could hug you and we could go out for a cup of coffee.
No, I really don't live in it. Don't live in it. Let it inspire you and motivate you, but do not live in it.
Let's hear some booyahs.
My booyah is to Florida, actually, as Florida lawmakers push to limit LGBTQ discussions in schools. Orlando vows to keep teaching its history. Thank you, Orlando.
I saw that. That is so cool.
Yep. 49 people died at the Pulse Massacre. And that's something that's going to happen, too. These teachers, that's why I like the American Library Association, and why I joined them. You have to push back. You have to push back, or they're just going to roll over you. And Orlando, thank God. Keep your pride flags in the window. Let these parents sue you, because that's how they're getting around lawsuits too. They're making all this shit so people can, individuals can sue instead of having a state agency that's responsible for it. And by the way, booyah, now that I forgot to include it, to Gavin Newsom in California, because they're playing the same goddamn game. They're pushing for a law that will allow any citizen to sue, either, I don't know if it's the owner of an AR-15 or an assault weapon, because some ridiculous right-wing judge overturned their ban on assault weapons. So they're just going to make it so that people can sue. And then it's really hard to actually challenge it in court. That's what they did with an abortion in Texas. And Gavin Newsom said, you know what? What's good for the goose is good for the goddamn gander. So happy news, booyah to California. Let's make it so parents can sue when their gay kids are offended by some religious bullshit thrown at them in school. Sue the school out of existence, especially private schools. Although all this is publicly funded schools. They're not doing it at private schools because I don't think they can.
Then you got the whole discussion of charter schools, and my big boo, my mom told me about, and when she told me, I just got so mad. And then I looked up the story. This happened in Clarksville. Now I can't remember the state. Clarksville where, Mark?
Texas, take the last train to Clarksville, and I'll meet you at the station.
You are on fire today. Like I said, I wish I was there so we could.
It's the coffee. It's the black coffee. I'm intermittent fasting. It does this to me.
Oh, that's good. It gives you energy, apparently. No?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking up what this Clarksville, Tennessee, of course.
Oh, Tennessee. Okay.
Is investigating the incident that took place at the Hilldale Baptist Church Sanctuary on February 9th around 6 p.m. Video footage of the incident shows that the female suspects approached a 70-year-old victim sitting in a pew and engaged in conversation. That's right. They sat by her side in this church, 2 young women, and they said, "Hey, can we pray for you?" And when the woman went down in prayer and grabbed the lady's hands, the other one slipped her billfold, wallet, whatever, and stole it and took off, and they still haven't caught these women. Boo on them. They attempted to use the credit cards at Sam's and Kroger's shortly thereafter. Isn't that just terrible?
It is terrible. My niece stopped on the road to help. A car had an accident. She stopped to help them, and some other car pulled up behind her, and she thought they were there to help too. And then when it was all over and the police had come, she got back in her car and her backpack had been stolen. I mean, it's not funny. It's horrible. No, but people are horrible. No. People are horrible. The world's full of horrible people.
Moving on to my big booyah. This goes out, and I can tag him, and I'm excited, to Eric Spitznagel. Name should ring a bell. He was a guest on our former podcast when we had guests and we did LGBT stuff. I like
his name, though.
Yeah, Spitznagel. Big time writer, has his own Wikipedia, or has a Wikipedia on him. This was an op-ed piece he wrote for the New York Post. He does work for AARP, and this was titled "Gen X is Running the World and Nobody Even Realized It." In light of the Super Bowl, he had to speak because he is Gen X. I'm on the border. And he said, "Hey, what's the issue here? No one is recognizing Gen X." So my big booyah goes out to Gen X and goes out to the players in the Super Bowl. The players being Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, not the football players. Kendrick Lamar, although he's not Gen X, but the rest are. Eminem, Dr. Dre. Super Bowl halftime taps into the millennial nostalgia. Millennials think they own that style of music, Mark. Let's be real. They have tried to erase the Gen X culture, and my friend Eric is tired of it. So he goes on to talk about, boomers are taking all the money. Millennials are taking all the credit. The Gen X life. And it's so true. There are more Gen Xers running businesses than any other.
Is Gen X between boomers and millennials?
Yeah, Gen X was what we called the Reagan babies. What were we called for a while? Preppies, or what were we called?
Okay.
Yes, that's Gen X. But one thing, let me just look. And what I love about this stuff he does, he really gets into pop culture. And he talks about a podcast from Depeche Mode, which is really, really popular. And then he references all the stuff happening in the world right now that relates around people's interest in Gen X's, like even the movie Jackass Forever coming out, right? That's all very Gen X. Bel Air, Fresh Prince of Bel Air coming back in 90s classic. Yeah, it's back. It's a new version of it. According to Nielsen, the top 10 mainstream rock songs of the 1910s are all from the 90s. So for one full decade, they were all songs from the 90s. Oh, and this is what he said. "We are not the forgotten middle children. Look at the news and pop culture right now. Dave Chappelle has his opinions at 48. Joe Rogan at 54 should be canceled. Tom Brady at 44 should retire. And Kanye West at 44 is having such a public meltdown over his wife dating a millennial." I love it. He said, "We are not the forgotten generation." So big booyah to Eric and my Gen X friends.
Loved it.
Kind of cool, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
My twist top, boy, we're Bill, we got a lot of show today. My twist top is it's very simple, in praise of day trips. We went to Chester, New Jersey.
Well, I love it.
We do a lot of day trips. I like my 2-night trips. We're going to Atlantic City next week, so there will not be a show. But we like to go just away for the day and not even all that long. So Frank will find these towns that we just drive to within an hour. Chester, New Jersey is about an hour away. It's a very sort of almost artsy little town. It's a mix of artsy and New Jersey. It's not.
Oh, nice.
So we loved it. And there was an English restaurant there called Sally Lunn's that's been around for many years. And we had an English tea service and little English Sammies, tiny little sandwiches. Yeah. So anyways, folks, that's another thing, even you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to, go away for 7 nights or even 2 nights. Just get in a car or walk. Like when I lived in the city, we would go on a day trip. I would go on day trips on the train. And explore places around you, whether it's a park or a town or a museum, and just make a day of it. And we're back we're back late afternoon. It's perfect. So that's just my twist top. I don't have more than that, or a specific place, just to start exploring and doing it in a day's time. You're back. It's cool. You watch TV, you have dinner, you play with your cats. I love it.
I love it. I love it, Mark. That's a good one. Spoken like a true Discover Wisconsin writer. Speaking of that, part of our whole mission is to get people out and enjoy their own backyard. Sometimes it's stuff that you don't think about or see. Mine are two. I have to start with the first one, which is kind of the way we traditionally do things. That's why I really appreciated this twist top. It's not just a film or a movie or a TV series, but I do have to shout out because I rarely do a lot of TV, right? And so this was a series I watched and binged, got through it in 2 nights. There's like 10, 25-minute episodes, so it's very easy. It's on HBO Max, called As We See It. In light of all these TV shows about apocalypse and corporate civil wars and, all these really far out there ones, this is like the one I talked about called Love Life a couple of weeks ago. This series is really just about finding a date, getting a job, leaving the house, getting outdoors, because these kids, 3 of them living in a home, are autistic. And they live together. Yeah. And they're played by autistic actors. When I saw the first episode, I had to dig deeper and found out that they are autistic actors playing them. It's written by the guy that created Parenthood and Friday Night Lights, so it has that kind of feel to it. And the woman that lives with them in this group home, so to speak, is played by Kevin Bacon and Keira Sedgwick's daughter, Mark. And she's very, very talented.
Oh, Sosie Bacon.
Yes. How do you know her?
Oh, my gosh. She was in it. She was in one season of The Closer. And in Mayor of Easttown, she played the drug addicted daughter.
Oh my God! With her mom playing
the daughter-in-law. Right? Her husband was what's the name? The British actress. She was the star of it. Oh, come on. Anyways, she was her daughter-in-law, and she's the one that she was. Help me, please, with the actress. I'm
gonna look it up, but I thought Keira was in The Closer. No.
No, the daughter was in one season. She played her daughter.
Yeah, but I thought Keira Sedgwick, that was her series.
It was. I'm trying to say her daughter in one season played her daughter on television.
Mm-hmm. And you're trying to figure out who the actor was that was the lead of The Closer?
No, you're just losing it. Mayor of Easttown.
Oh, now I got it. It all makes sense to me now, yeah. That is...
Sosie Bacon played her daughter-in-law, the drug addict, and she was trying to get her kid... keep custody of the child, and she's really good. She's really good.
Is that Kate Winslet, right?
Yes, thank you. But anyway, Sosie Bacon's a really good actress.
She is really good. And what I love about this, in one review I read, this comes from the New York Times. By the way, it is Amazon Prime. I stand corrected, just so you know. But the word that comes up a lot, and as you see it, is really norm and normal. And they talk about, what is normal. They all strive to be normal, and it's very moving. So check it out. And the other one I want to talk about is kind of non-normal. My other twist top. I used to love when Mark was grocery checkup guy. He was the checker for a while. And you would see these weird food trends come across the belt. And I was like, oh, what would Mark be seeing today? So here's what's trending. The bakery giant known as Hostess has come out with Boost Jumbo Donuts. They contain 50 to 70 milligrams of caffeine, Mark.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was like they had the third vaccine.
No, these Boost Jumbo Donuts, they've had donuts, but these are both Boost, have more caffeine than an 8-ounce cup of coffee. And they're saying, it's kind of funny because they're saying they're doing it because people don't have the time to get a cup of coffee and a donut. So let's just do it all at one time. That's trending. Another big trend right now is Little Debbie has a series of ice creams out, all in the flavors of Little Debbie's, which I find so interesting. Like zebra. What else did they have? They have the little nutty butter bars, cosmic brownies, oatmeal cream pies. That's trending. Yesterday, Starlight Coke and Diet Coke was released. This is the newest flavor. Coke has announced this new plan to come out with limited flavors that reflect the globe. Starlight is all about the magical power of the world. Some people say in early tests that it tastes like bubble yum. Some say it tastes like Coca-Cola raspberry. Some say it tastes like Dr. Pepper. So check it out. It's in both flavors, hitting the shelves this week. The first new flavor in a while. Toffee Crunch is the newest permanent Oreo flavor. We've talked about different Oreo flavors, but Coffee Crunch will be a permanent flavor, not just one that's tried. Also trending, potato milk. I think we talked about it on the show before. It's nice because it's nut-free for those.
I couldn't find it. I looked for it in the grocery store and I didn't see it.
Well, they're saying it's really popular in other countries specifically, but potato, because it grows so abundantly in any soil, no matter where you are in the globe, has a lot of vitamin B and C, Mark. So you would try it, huh?
Oh, absolutely, but I couldn't find it.
I'm going to have to search for it, but it's out there. And then also trending is, would you eat your cereal boxes, save the planet? I remember those little cereal boxes when mom would buy like 8 little boxes and you cut them and open them, right? Some had foil, some didn't. But the trend is in Japan for a long time, even 30 years ago when I lived there, you would eat the wrapper. They were made out of rice paper for candy, etc.
Fun.
Yeah, so countries like India, China, and Brazil, to begin with, are experimenting and finding out, can we eat the wrapper around it? Also, new Doritos dip comes in 2 flavors. It's actually a dip that you can dip in. Dr. Pepper has a berries and cream out. Yeah, kind of cool, huh? M&M has a new honey graham flavor for Easter. So there you go. That's my
Easter says honey graham, yeah.
Like nothing else, right?
Yeah.
What the hell is that? All right. I do want to tell you, too, I did see 2 movies this weekend with my mom. They're on my twist top list without quoting them. One is Dog. It's the first time it was co-directed by Channing Tatum.
Wow, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Magic Mike.
And yeah, it's a tribute to his real dog that died named Lulu, and he's a military dog in this one. And also Marry Me. The J-Lo movie is really, really good.
Oh, good.
It's like
with Owen Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun, Mark. It's so modern, incorporates Instagram and successful artists and reality TV shows. So it's a very modern movie in the world we're living in today. It's just a lot of fun. Very nice romance. I saw him with my mom. It was great. So that's our twist tops.
Okay. You're banging something. I hear you banging.
Oh, my keyboard. I'm very loud. What you got for your listicle?
Listicles. It's speaking of everything that's going on in the country on the local level, the top 10 banned books to read while you still can.
Nice.
By the way, in 2020, which was a couple years ago, LGBTQ books made up 80% of the top 10 banned books, and they remain among the most frequently challenged because, we're so threatening. I'm being facetious here. We're terribly threatening to clueless people. Okay, number 10, The Hunger Games, which was a book by Suzanne Collins. Number 9 is 13 Reasons Why, which is authored by Jay Asher. I'll see the authors' names. I didn't read any of these, but that one had something to do with suicide. They made a movie out of it, and it was a big controversial thing. Number 8 is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas.
Oh, God, it was a great movie, too, by the way.
Hate You Give?
Yeah, they made it into a movie last year. So good.
Number 7 is Lawn Boy by Jonathan Everson, which is about a boy who works at a gardening service, like a Hispanic kid. And it's about classism and that sort of thing. Number 6 is Monday's Not Coming, which is Tiffany D. Jackson. Monday, she's the author. Monday is a character's name. Number 5 is New Kid by Jerry Craft. Number 4 is Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe.
Ooh, that sounds good.
They're really out for that one. Number 3 is, I can't believe she's on any list, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison won the Nobel Prize. She was an astonishing author and intellect, and she's on these people's banned book lists. The other one is Beloved. They can't, they got to get rid of that because it actually talks about, depicts slavery as it was. So can't scare little white people with that one. Number 2 is All Boys Aren't Blue. You can sort of guess what that one's about. And number 1 is Mouse by Art Spiegelman, the graphic novel about the Holocaust that recently made big news. And those are the top 10 banned books to read while you still can. And the author, it was a blog post by Nicole Etelin, and she said she was being a little bit sarcastic because you can still get the books. Right. You won't be able to get them in schools.
That's amazing. I love it, Mark. I want to tell you, I was going to do this when I talk about following us on social media because someone wrote me because you were really talking a lot about banned books. And I'm glad you did this list because 2 Missouri students are suing their school district for banning books that talk about LGBTQ identities, as well as books about race. This is happening in Wentzville outside of St. Louis.
Good for them.
I hope they win. They got the backing from the ALCU. Mine are the top 10 Black billionaires in honor of Black History Month as we're wrapping things up. Of course, there are about 2,755 billionaires in the world today. Of them, only 15 are Black.
Wow.
And of those 15, only 2 are women and 9 are American. So interesting. Who do you think that in the top 10, 2 Black billionaire women are? You would know one at least.
Rihanna.
You got it. She's number 10 at $1.7 billion. People don't realize.
I'm thinking either maybe Oprah or Beyonce.
You are right. It's Oprah.
Yeah.
Rihanna, mostly from her Fenton clothing line. She's having a baby. Kanye West is number 9, worth $1.8 billion.
Okay.
For
clothing, I guess.
Yeah, making the bank college dropout sports multi-million-dollar to design a sneaker company.
Yeah, none of them are getting the billions from music. That I'm sure of.
Oh, point that out for sure. Alex Carpet, number 8, is worth $2.1 billion. He is a data specialist. Some data company. Oprah, $2.7 billion. Patrice Matsip, he's a president of some company called CAF, worth $2.9 billion. David Stewart, $3.7 billion. Again, we don't know a lot about these people. Abdulsal Rabiu, $4.9 million. Robert Smith coming in at number 3 at $6 billion. He became a billionaire through the private equity firm Vista Equity Partners, which he founded in 2000. Micah Adenagu at $6.1 billion. And finally, number 1 billionaire, Black man worth $11.5 billion, is named Aliko Dangote. He was born in Nigeria and is worth more than $10 billion according to Forbes, and is overseeing the construction of what will be one of the world's largest oil refineries.
And that's the top 10.
It's top 10. Yeah, there's
because I'm surprised that Dr. Dre and Jay-Z weren't on there.
Well, one would think they really did 15 of the others. The ones I didn't mention real quick, Michael Jordan was in that list that you would know. Jay-Z is in it.
Yeah, I said that.
Number 14. Yeah, you were right. And then Tyler Perry started the
list.
Oh,
okay. Tyler Perry. That's not a surprise.
Yeah, interesting list. I'm glad you found it interesting because I sure did. That's our list.
All right.
Boop, 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 boop. I just want to remind people to follow us on social media before we wrap up the show here, Mark. You can find us on Facebook and also on what else?
Instagram.
A couple people wrote in. Cream cheese shortage, not the only thing out there. Avocado shortage, as we all know. Relates to the cartel. Look up the story. It's very interesting. The U.S. had blocked it. We only get avocados from one state, Mexico.
Oh.
And the U.S. was punishing them, by the way. And so they were coming at us because we said they weren't safe and there was a threat on a plant safety inspector. But now that's all resolved and things are apparently back to normal, Mark. So I don't know, but that's what they say. All right, cool. So let's wrap it up with some good quotes, bro.
By the way, on the Instagram, do you post on Instagram?
No, you do a lot. I do once in a while.
No, because I lost the password. I can't even get the account. I can't get onto the account.
Oh, Jesus. You just got to ask.
If you care, send me the password.
Yes, I will.
My quote is from the same blogger, Nicole Edelin, who did the 10 banned book list. It's part of what she wrote, but it's a good part. Quote, "The quickest way to ensure that everyone wants to read something is by telling them that they can't."
Oh, that's so timely. I like it a lot. Right? It's repression. That's what happens. So this is a quote from my friend Lee, who said I could use her name, Lee Collier, friend of mine down in Louisiana. And she wrote a letter on Facebook to all of her friends, and I loved it. This happened on Sunday, February 6th. She says, "I changed my voter registration from Republican to Independent. It was easy, if not painful, for a longtime member of the GOP. For those of you in Louisiana who care to know, I have attached a link, and she writes a link about online voter registration and why it's changing. She says, the RNC no longer speaks for me, and my conscience is now clear. In censoring 2 of its members, the RNC directly inferred that the events of January 6, 2021 were perpetrated by ordinary citizens engaged in lawful political discourse, end of quote. Trying to avoid direct confrontation on the issue of armed rebellion versus lawful discourse, the RNC did not actually name the date of it issue. It did, however, censor 2 of its members who sit on a committee dedicated to understanding the roots of the events of that day, calling out those members for persecution of persons involved that day. She wraps it up. So, my friends, if I've made you angry by sending you this email, then you can only imagine how strongly I feel, how pained I am, and how much I care. Blessings to
everyone. Well, by the way, that end of that quote applies to this show, because I was just thinking too, if I disturbed anybody by being so fired up, it's because I was that queer kid. I was that gay kid, trying to find out about myself through the Psychology Today book club, because there were no other resources, and hiding and reaching for alcohol when I was a teen. So I feel extremely passionately about harm being done to these kids.
I hear you, Mark. And this is a quote that ties in with your quote and Lee's quote. It's attributed to Edmund Burke, and it ties in exactly what you said. He's from the 1700s, from Ireland. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. So thank you, and Lee, for speaking up.
Okay, everybody. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and I'll report on our trip to Atlantic City. It's going to be fun.
Have fun, Mark. I will miss you.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye, guys.
You've been listening to the Twist Podcast with co-hosts Mark McNease and Rick Rose. Fasten your headphones and join us next time.